if any of you have any questions. Irv Smith, you get the first question. Oh, okay.
Ray was followed a pretty great guy and worked with him, and of course we knew Ray from the time he was working with Bob. But I guess, Ray, the thing I appreciated more about you than anything else was your candor and your independence. When in 1994, when we had the contract for America, and I saw Ray LaHood didn't sign it and was one of the few, I thought, what in the world's wrong with it? Mm-hmm. But I knew I kind of knew what you were doing. I kind of knew what you were doing because I became a victim of it myself, for which I'm happy, incidentally, because I don't know if I'd want to do any more years on the city council or not. But that was, I thought, a kind of a gutty thing for you to do, and it was a good thing because in retrospect, I look back at what you did, and I certainly agreed with it. And I just, want to thank you so much because you've been a great representative and a great friend, and hate to see you go.
Thank you, Irv. That means a lot to me. When I was first running, the Sangamon County Political Organization has this endorsement thing that you have to go through, and you have to show up and show your credentials and tell them how, all the good things you're going to do. And I'll never forget Irv and probably Bob and Bill Cellini and a few others went to some of the people in this part of the district and said, look, we're not going to beat LaHood, so we might as well endorse him. And that meant a lot to me. I mean, there were people in this part of the district that wanted to run for this job and, perhaps would have had a great opportunity. But because, I guess, of the work that I did with Bob, some of the political powers at the time really gave me the boost that I needed to get the endorsement. You don't forget things like that. So thank you, Irv, for what you said. Anybody want to ask any questions or say anything?
Congressman, you were quoted in The Hill not long ago as saying, I've been thinking about not running, and some of the other Republicans, talked me into running again, and I'm going to run again. What has changed your mind? Why this year, this term, this time, you're making this decision?
Well, really, for what I just said, I mean, I've done a lot in this job. I can't think of anything really that I would like to do. To have President Bush come here and help us christen the library was a hallmark for this community. To have the president come on January 10th to my hometown, I worked on him for 4 years to get him to do that. That was a hallmark for me. I tell you what, I don't make any bones about it. I've enjoyed working with President Bush. I think I have a special relationship with him. And I think the work that we've done has been work that has paid off big dividends. I've been a strong advocate for agriculture, a strong voice for agriculture. People forget that agriculture drives the Illinois economy. And I think the farmers in my district have appreciated the fact that I've paid attention to them. Look, there's a good time to leave, and this is it for me. It really is. I go out on the peak of my career as a public servant and as a politician. And if there were 2 words to describe why I'm leaving, I would say it's Kathy LaHood.
Has she encouraged you to do that at an earlier time?
Actually, Kathy wanted me to run for governor. She was very disappointed when I decided not to run for governor. Yeah, I know you did. And Kathy encouraged me, along with some community people, to look at the Bradley job, and she was disappointed when I decided to pull out of that. So, look, for those of you that have been married a long time, I will have been married 40 years on November 10th this year. And I owe it to my wife and my children, my grandchildren, to become a normal person. This is not a normal job. It's not. I mean, every day I go to work in Washington, I'm not with my family. When I come back to the district, I'm not with my family. I'm out doing something. I'm in my car driving the 200 miles that it takes. And if I can't do this, give 1,000%, I'm not going to do the job. I mean, I could run for re-election. I could get re-elected, and I could not do the job I'm doing now. But that's not the way I operate. And so this is a good time to go. And These are not permanent jobs. Nobody owns this district. The people will decide who their representative is, and so.
Well, it seems that Congressman Denny Hastert is facing a similar decision. I don't know what he's going to do to you.
I'm not going to speak for him today.
Well, it would be, certainly there's one district in Illinois, and if he retires, another that would, certainly be right for the other party to realize not having a couple.
Look, at this district was carried by President Bush twice with good pluralities. The district hasn't had a Democrat. Well, it's a 20-county district, but when you look at the district overall, it hadn't had a Democrat since 1917. There's enough people around this district that are going to make sure we have a Republican congressman. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to have a fight. This is going to be wild. You're going to have a lot of Democrats and a lot of Republicans trying to get the nomination. But in the end, I believe a Republican will be elected. I'm going to do everything I can to get a Republican elected. And I think when you look at the demographics, it's going to be a presidential year. There are going to be a lot of people interested in voting. We're going to have an early primary in Illinois. And then we're going to have a lot of people participating because it's a presidential year. And this is a good district for a Republican. Well, I don't even know who all the candidates are. You're all going to check that out in the next few days, and there'll be a million stories written about that. And look, every state rep and every state senator. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It only comes around once for many of these people. And I'm sure everyone is looking at it, and everyone thinks they can do it. And in the end, they'll decide whether they want to give up the seat they have if they have to run for re-election. I think there'll be some business people that'll look at it in the Peoria area. It won't just be, people that are in public office now. You're going to have a lot of interest in this. This is a good district. It's a very good district. And so there'll be a lot of interest. The answer is, not knowing who the candidates are, I don't know.
Congressman Michaels had a pretty nice career, second career in Washington. Do you think he'll have a similar one, and will you maintain a residence in Washington?
Well, I'm hoping the phone will ring after people read my announcement. So, look, I don't have anything planned. I don't have any job. I'm going to try and live a normal life. I'm not going to retire from life. I'm going to retire from public life. And, I'm going to continue to work. So we're hoping we may get a few phone calls after people find out I'm going to be available a year and a half from now.
What advice would you have for someone considering a run at this?
Well, just the willingness to work hard. This is a hard job. You just have to be very self-centered and be willing to get out and just give up everything and work hard day and night. It's a big district, and it's a very independent-minded district. That's why I think you're going to see Democrats look at it very carefully. The Democrats in this district are pretty conservative Democrats. I think that's why I've done well with them. But a willingness to work hard and to take the issues to the people. In the end, in these jobs, nobody's appointed. You never get appointed to the House of Representatives. You have to get elected. And that's the great thing about our system. And the people are going to decide who their representative is going to be. And the people of this district are pretty independent-minded people. And if you're willing to work hard, take the issues, the war is going to be a big issue. The economy is always an issue in Central Illinois. And so there's never a shortage of issues.